Welcome back to Yanks Abroad. 5-1, the U.S. over Uruguay. Nearly Uruguay's worst ever defeat. Their worst ever defeat coming at a 6-0 loss to Argentina in like 1902. And just Pochettino showing us everything that has been building up to this moment. The amount of people who have said he doesn't have it, who have doubted his ability to imprint his identity onto these players, talking about how he doesn't know how to pick his lineups, pick his squads, too much rotation, not enough rotation, the wrong players, the wrong profiles. He got everything right in this camp and at the perfect time. November 18th, we've got one more international break before the World Cup for him to hopefully have all of his players fit, get his pretty much World Cup squad together, and to put them out on the pitch in the way that he wants to. And what I'm most excited about from the last couple of international breaks is we have multiple ways of playing. We can set up in different ways and still execute a game plan. It's interesting that in this match, we went to a back four, even with, you would say, probably a weaker defensive group. We went with fewer defenders. But what we did do by doing that is play a little bit more directly, use our physicality, use our athleticism, use the strengths that this team had, right? This formation that FOTMOB has, completely not how we lined up. Here's how we lined up. And I think a lot of people saw this lineup, and obviously, on paper, not great. I wasn't thrilled by it, although if you watched the last video, you know I said I expect to see a massive rotation. This obviously is a game that didn't matter, and Pochettino brought some players he wanted to see. He wanted to see Baralter again. He wanted to see John Tolkien, Trusty, and McKenzie deserved an opportunity to play. I was surprised that Timmy Tillman got a start, but Haji Wright obviously deserves the chance to play. You're still trying to figure it out. These are friendlies. And Serginho Dest at right back was just such a brilliant concept to have him and Alex Freeman together on that right side. The two of them, the overlapping, the underlapping, Dest dropping back, helping out with defensive responsibilities, Freeman getting over the top of him while Dest was driving inside. I mean, the two of them playing this little two-man game. The ability then for Freeman to even get up into these other areas of the pitch and Dest dropping into right back to cover. They had so much freedom and played together beautifully. The way that we used Haji Wright's physicality, I think a lot of gets lost with Haji Wright and his goal scoring and his ability to play out on the wing. And, you know, he obviously has scored so many clutch goals. His physicality is something that really shouldn't be kind of cast aside because, yes, is he going to be the starting center forward at the World Cup? No. Is he going to be the second center forward at the World Cup? No. But if we're chasing a match, and I've been saying this, I'd so much rather have him alongside either Balogun or Pepe than Balogun and Pepe together because Haji Wright can get in those channels. Haji Wright can, win aerial balls. He can win second balls. He's just such a physical player, never afraid to get in for a duel, and he showed that tonight. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and say this was Haji Wright's best match by any chance. Obviously, we spoke about it in the comments, many of us, in the last video, but I wouldn't worry about these ratings. 3 out of 12 passing. It wasn't his best match, but he won 3 aerial duels, and I liked a lot of what he brought to this team. The set pieces. I've been saying for such a long time about the U.S., before Pochettino, what is one thing that we have that most other countries don't have? It's literally size, and physically, we're a bigger country. We create bigger athletes who have larger frames, who have more athleticism, more jumping ability. It's not our best athletes, and we're also not the most technically skilled country. But what we do have are big bodies who are able to throw their bodies around and play physically. And by the way, our best U.S. teams ever, all were built on this principle. Yes, we need to get better in terms of, growing up, the way we teach the game, tactical skills, technical skills, understanding of the game. Yes, all that needs to get better. But right now, with the group that we have, you can put out a lineup of Richards, Freeman, Ream, Tessman, Balogun, Tillman. These players are all above 6 feet tall, wide set frames, and an ability to create their own space in and around the box. And the best way to take advantage of that, and we're seeing with Arsenal, they've been, they get bombasted in the media for it, but they dominate games by winning set pieces. And you know what? We went out and did that tonight. We won this game on set pieces. We weren't necessarily even, we were the better side. There's no other way of putting at it. We dominated almost the entire game. The possession got all screwed up towards the end of the match. But what we did was we just used our advantages. That Baralter goal. Yes, we're not necessarily talking about a headed goal, but what we do have is huge bodies in the box that blocked the goalkeeper, that blocked the defenders, that attracted Uruguayan defenders further back, and it allowed Baralter to take just a fantastic shot. And while we're on this topic of Sebastian Baralter, I know he's not well liked by most people who are going to watch this content, and I can understand that. But what I will say is I have nothing but respect for the way that he has put himself into the conversation by being somebody who brings something else to the table. That's the way you make your way onto a World Cup roster. It doesn't mean he'll get a single minute at the World Cup, but being as good as he's been off set pieces in the Gold Cup, think about that. I think he had 3 assists off set pieces in the Gold Cup. He scores his first goal in this match from a set piece. He gets an assist off of a corner kick from a set piece. He has just become a absolute master of playing dangerous balls into the box off set pieces. And you know what? That's a skill that takes a serious amount of technical skill and makes you an important part of the team. 28 of 32 passing, 3 of 4 accurate long balls. That second, it was either the second or third goal, I can't remember right now. Baralter played a great ball in over the top to Tolkien, whose cross got deflected out for a corner kick that wound up in another goal. So I think Sebastian Baralter, there were a lot of things I didn't like about the way that he played. I think he's still over-aggressive, and you can see against a well-drilled side with midfielders like Bentancur, who did get the red card, Ugarte, Araujo, obviously a more technical side than what Baralter's used to playing in the MLS. He gets taken advantage of. He gets dribbled around. He gets caught out of position. I don't feel great with Baralter in midfield. But again, he's an absolute menace off set pieces. He has done the right things to earn himself at least a conversation about being in this side. I thought he brings more to the table for me than an Aiden Morris. We have better Aiden Morrises. We have 3, 4 of them in this side. We don't necessarily have that guy off set pieces that you feel great about. I mean, Pulisic got killed in the media at Copa America and the year before for his poor deliveries off corner kicks. Having somebody like Baralter, who, let's say you're late in the game and you know you're going to have a bunch of set pieces, you're going forward and forward, you're getting fouled, you're winning corner kicks. You bring on somebody like Baralter who can play those fantastic balls into the box. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying he's going to be at the World Cup. I'm not saying if he gets there he's going to play a minute. But this is how you make your way onto a World Cup squad for sure. Really, really like that out of him. Alex Freeman, I mean, I don't want this whole episode to be, look back at all the things I've been saying since the Gold Cup, but I feel like I was the only person that I saw consistently talking about how much promise Alex Freeman was showing. And yes, he has some faults. He has some naiveties. He's a young player. But the pure physical athletic talent that he has and the way that he runs with the ball and the way that he is able to get himself into dangerous areas, it was just due for him to have a match like this where he showed it all at once. And there's no doubt in my mind that Alex Freeman, at this very moment, and I'm going to get to it later with a little bit of how I think we could line up here at the World Cup, but to me, Alex Freeman is at the very least your backup right back, if not your starting right back. He has just shown a different level to his game and has gotten better every single match since the Gold Cup for me. He's been asked to do so many different things. He's been asked to play at right center back in a back 5. He's been asked to play at right back. He's been asked to play at right wing back. He's been asked to play on the left side. He has done it all, and he's done it all well. Yes, once in a while he gets caught in behind. Most defenders do, especially when you're being asked to play as far forward as Alex Freeman's being asked to play. But this match was just unbelievable. 27 of 33 passing. He won 5 of 8 duels. Great header off that corner kick, just peeling off the back post. The run to go past a very solid defender in Ronald Araujo, who is a Barcelona defender, to go right through him and score that goal and take it with such confidence. The confidence this kid's playing with after he was platformed by Pochettino at the Gold Cup from basically being somebody that nobody knew, right? Like, I would say most people were not familiar with Alex Freeman. Maybe they knew Antonio Freeman had a son who played in the MLS Next Gen last year. Maybe they'd seen him play for Orlando City. Maybe they watched him at the Gold Cup. This is a player who was in the MLS Best 11, was the MLS Young Player of the Year, and has potentially earned his way to the right back for the U.S. Men's National Team at the Gold Cup. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, Dest is the right back. Dest is the right back. And I'm going to get to that. But I'm just saying right now, there's so many different formations in which Alex Freeman is a starter for the U.S. Men's National Team at the World Cup. And if I told you that on June 1st, before we had a Gold Cup squad, I think you would say, who's Alex Freeman? Unbelievable to see him continue to grow. And he still has so much time. January, he may make a move to Europe. There was European interest this summer. Starts playing in Europe for the next 6 months. Plays at, I think Valencia was interested. I know clubs in Italy were interested. I think that would be a great fit for him. Alex Freeman on the rise. Just so good to see him thriving. It's Uruguay. Like, this is a top 10 country in the world at the sport. Yes, this was maybe like a half A, half B team. It was a C team for us, so like I don't want to hear any of that. Yeah, they were missing Valverde. They were missing Darwin Nunez. I totally get that. This is a well-drilled Marcelo Bielsa side. Bielsa obviously has lost this team. They're in big trouble with the World Cup being 6 months away. But unbelievable from Alex Freeman. Just really loved watching that. And I just want to keep mentioning the set pieces. Like, that is something that can completely change the way that we approach these matches. If we can dominate on set pieces, if we can find our way to, let's say you have 3 group stage matches and you make the knockout round. Let's say you were guaranteed 4 matches at the World Cup. You find a way to score 2, maybe 3 set piece goals. I mean, that's the difference between getting out of the group stages, getting out of the quarterfinals. Like that, these are the margins we're talking about. I say this all the time. The way you win major tournament games is ball striking. I'm going to add set pieces to that list. Set pieces and ball striking. It's little moments of magic. It's doing those little things and getting the leg up there. It's not being the best drilled side. It's not being the team that has the most beautiful buildups. Because honestly, that's not what we've seen win in the past. Yes, Spain did it this summer, but a lot of it came from brilliance, individual brilliance. Mikel Merino scoring crazy goals at the end of matches, right? Like these are the things we're talking about. We're not talking about club football where it's a 60-game season and you need to be the best drilled side throughout the whole thing. You need depth and all. You're talking about fine margins. And the U.S., where they have a fine margin right now, is size, athleticism, and the ability to play in dangerous balls. They continue to work on that. They continue to use a set-piece coach who can make, now that we've seen this as an opportunity, who can continue to make those kind of small advantages. That's just another way we can win. And by the way we're playing so direct with this back four, right, like to look at this, so much of this game came not by playing into midfield. You saw Tolkien get a little bit wide. You saw Aiden Morris dropping between the center backs, which, by the way, that's where he's way better. Anytime Aiden Morris gets kind of further up the pitch, he seems like he's a fish out of water. Then you got Baralter kind of a little bit deeper. Freeman stepping in at times out here a little bit wider, like kind of building up in this almost diamond, right? Like Tolkien, Luna gets a little bit into here. You got Des coming into here, or Freeman coming into here at times. You also had Morris kind of getting out wide here, and Freeman dropping, Des dropping in here as part of this kind of diamond, or even it was kind of like a triangle with Tolkien getting higher and wider, Des sometimes getting higher and wider. But a lot of this came from when this ball came at the back, we just played it right into this area, and we tried to use a squeeze in the central areas with Timmy Tillman and with Sebastian Baralter and with Haji Wright trying to win those balls there, and then from there getting this ball high and wide to Tolkien and Des as they stretch the pitch. And it continued to create so much for us. And what it also created was an entirety of set pieces. We got fouled countless times in those areas just by playing so direct, by not trying to pass the ball around so much. We didn't have that side tonight. We didn't have the side to try and play through Uruguay. How many times were we fouled? 10 fouls committed by Uruguay, and I want to say almost all of those were in the final third. So many set pieces tonight. We won 7 corner kicks, just like playing to our strengths in that way, where in the past, under Baralter, or even under Pochettino in the first few months, it felt like we came into the match and just plugged and played with the same formation over and over again, with the same idea, the same tactics, horseshoeing, not being able to get into central areas, trying to cross from out wide over and over again. No, this team, what they had for them was the ability to go over the top, to use their physicality, and we used that to our advantage. And what it did was it made me itch to watch Malik Tillman with this side. Imagine Malik Tillman instead of, respectfully, Timmy Tillman winning these second balls, instead of Diego Luna winning these second balls. When this ball gets paid into Haji Wright, there were so many times when he would, hold off the first man and nobody would be there by the time that second ball came. Malik Tillman's ability to change the way that we play, his ability to play so vertically, both passing and carrying, the threat he causes vertically. Would have loved to see him in this team, and I can't wait to have him back out there. Diego Luna, I do want to start kind of moving down the list here of some things that I didn't love from this match. There are no negatives from a 5-1 win, but just we are looking at everything as a whole. For me, Diego Luna is really struggling. I know he scored the goal, but I would say the last 2 international breaks, I've been very unimpressed by Diego Luna, and I'm struggling to see exactly how he fits into the side other than as a deep rotation option, right? Like, for me right now, in those double 10 positions, you've got Pulisic, Reyna, Tillman, McKenzie. Those 4 way ahead. I think you could see, if we're playing in that back 5, you could see Haji Wright sliding in to one of those positions. I think you could see Zendejas sliding into one of those positions. I'm sure there's somebody I'm forgetting right now because it's late at night and I can't think. But for me, Diego Luna he's looked like a fish out of water. I hate to use that phrase again. He's just looked a little bit out of his depth. The couple of times he got on the ball, he just looked like he was trying to force it. Like, I think he can feel this opportunity slipping a little bit, And whereas he feels like he needs to make another moment of magic, like he kind of rose to prominence in that match in the Gold Cup where he scored those goals, like he doesn't need to recreate those. What he needs to do is do the simple things correctly, to create mini transitions, to get into the pockets and play with his teammates off of the striker. And listen, he scored the goal, so obviously Fat Mom's gonna say he had a great game. But for me, I was unimpressed with him again. I thought he lacked a lot of the ferociousness that we're looking for Diego Luna, a lot of the creativity that we're looking from these double 10 positions. It's a little different than playing as a winger. Like, the creativity and the central access has to come from the patience of movement, from the way you receive the ball, and from the way you kind of vary your passing. And Diego Luna seems very one-track mind to me right now, although he does do what he did best, which is make those little late runs into the box and score those types of goals. So, listen, he's still in the squad for me right now, and make sure you're subscribed because we're going to do our who's in, who's out before the international break is up here to look at who this squad could look like for the World Cup. Remember, we have just one more international break in March before the World Cup, so make sure to stay tuned for that. We'll do a couple more of those as the months go on here, and we look forward. Talked about Haji Wright. We've talked about Aiden Morris. I'm not sure Aiden Morris is in the squad. He hasn't done anything wrong, but nothing that really sticks out. Love to see Tanner Tessman get a goal off the bench, and it didn't seem like he was really too injured, I hope. But we will obviously kind of find out what the situation was with that. He was down for a little bit, of course, but he just continues to show, for me, that he is somebody who will be a starter at the World Cup. Gio Reyna. Gio Reyna does Gio Reyna things, comes on, plays a perfect ball off of a set piece. That angle, right? Like, Gio Reyna, that angle is really tough. And the fact that Gio Reyna from this part of the box can play that ball so consistently, he's working his way into the squad. You can't leave this November camp and say to yourself, Gio Reyna's not in the World Cup squad. He is. As of right now, Gio Reyna is 100% in the World Cup squad after this break. That's what we learned. And we needed it. We need him. We needed this. Like, all these people are like, oh, you're jumping on the Gio bandwagon. You're a Gio lover. Like, no, we have an incredibly talented player who has struggled for a couple of years, and now he looks like he's found joy in the game and is playing his best again. That's a positive. There's no negative to take from that. There's no fanboy. Like, I'm not fanboying. There's no doubt Gio Reyna is one of our most technically skilled players that we've ever produced. If he can be playing well, that is a good thing. Last couple of things here. I want to talk defensive. First, I'll say Timmy Tillman, obviously not a World Cup player, but I do like his instincts to play forward. He really tried to play forward when he got that ball in this pockets of space in the half spaces. So credit to him, but probably the last we'll see of him under Pochettino ahead of the World Cup. Let's talk defenders. I talked Freeman. I didn't really talk Dest. I think there's not that much to say other than I'm not sure there's anyone who's been more influential under Pochettino than Serginho Dest. I do not think there has been anybody more influential. Okay, now we're going to talk defenders. First, let's talk Matt Freese. I really would still like to see him be more commanding on balls that come into the box. I think that he waits too long. That goal was because he completely just waited too long. He didn't tell his defenders, my ball, my ball. A couple of corner kicks that came in that he should have easily caught that he ended up punching away into danger. So that's the main thing for me in Matt Freese. Just like, you need to have the authority that you're the United States number one. You need to get that in your head. That's what made Tim Howard so good in these tournaments. That was what was his mindset. I'm the goalkeeper for the United States. That's me. I'm going to command the box. Need that from Matt Freese. Okay, on to the center backs. Austin Trusty. A lot of fun qualities about Austin Trusty. I love his ball playing. I like the fact that he likes to kind of get forward, that he likes to play these little 1-2s with Tolkien, with Baralter in midfield, with Aiden Morris a lot of the times, trying to like play off of them and get forward. But I also think he is kind of a headless chicken in the way he defends, and so many times left such a massive gap in the back line that left us exposed. I can't imagine how he can be in this World Cup squad with those kinds of limitations unless there's a lot of injuries. For me right now, he's a no. A lot would have to go right for him, especially at the club level between now and March. But no, for me right now, Austin Trusty's a no. Maybe he's back in the squad post-World Cup, but he needs to seriously work on his positioning. He seems to lack concentration, and so many times it left Mark McKenzie on an island. Now Mark McKenzie. I love so much about Mark McKenzie, his physicality, his passing range. I like how he tries to command the game. He likes to win balls, win tackles, but one time a match, he has a complete brain fart, and it seems to always result in opposition goal. And he can't get that out of his game. It's going to be really hard to imagine him starting at the World Cup. I think he's still an extra defender. I still think he gets the call. But I think Mark McKenzie, for me, had a little bit of a slide at this camp. He's been sliding, obviously, since the Gold Cup. and his form at Toulouse has dipped a little bit. So he's definitely someone who's like closer to the border of making the squad. I think with Cameron Carter-Vickers' injury, with Miles Robinson not impressing, like Mark McKenzie's probably right where Miles Robinson is, but not his best match here either. It's hard to say anyone had a bad match again. We won 5-1 against Uruguay. It's amazing. But just looking at the little things, my thoughts on Mark McKenzie. And then John Tolkin. I've talked a lot about the left back issues without Anthony Robinson, our inability to play down this left-hand side, to find somebody who can both, do what Des and Freeman do, which is they're really strong in build-up. They can carry centrally. They can get out wide and play crosses and also get forward. Arfson, we know, can't do the first part. Tolkien struggled at both aspects tonight. For me, I liked in a lot of the positions he got into, but I didn't think he was very successful in his crossing. He went a lot of corners by hitting them off the defender, but long-term, I didn't see much from Tolkien here that made me feel good. But what it does bring me to is potentially the cure for this issue. And now, listen, if Anthony Robinson is healthy and he comes back at some point between now and March and plays a lot for Fulham, maybe gets into the March squad, Anthony Robinson's your starting left back. If he does not, there are two ways I could see this going. Because I think the back four is very much back in play. I think we're going to see plenty of back five, depending on the group we're in, depending on the opponents. I think we're going to see plenty of back five. We've spoken that to death in the last couple of months. But when you go to the back four here, right, like I've spoken about how I kind of want to see these guys together. This could really work in multiple ways. If it's Pulisic, Reyna, and Tillman, and you can go Freeman and Dest, right? We know Freeman can slot in here. Dest can get out wide, and you can have your double tens kind of be like that. Pulisic and Dest can very much alternate. Dest can drop into here, and you can have Tillman and Reyna kind of playing off each other on this right-hand side. Okay, that's one option, right? Let's say that that's Dest. Another option is, let's say Anthony Robinson does play. I still think you could see, right, like Reyna and Tillman kind of interchanging, so they're going to drop here. You're going to get Anthony to fly up here, and then you get Dest as this right winger the way he played tonight, and you have Tessman do what Aiden Morris did, which is drop between the center backs right here, and you kind of create this diamond like this, right, where like Reyna is kind of dropping here, and you create it this way. I think Dest at left back is a really potential option in this back four, but we need to see it in March because he's been so successful, so influential, as I said, off that right-hand side, both now at right wing and at right back. I'd like to see him do a little bit of left back shift for Pochettino if Anthony Robinson's not healthy by March. So there's a lot of ifs there, but just some potential for those issues that I'm talking about. Unbelievable camp here, beating Paraguay and Uruguay. I never would have expected it. You got to give Pochettino his flowers. I feel like there was so much hostility towards him. We came off such a hostile environment with Baralter and the way that all ended at Copa America. Pochettino off to a bit of a shaky start. Hasn't had the most support in terms of health, fans, MLS, anything you talk about. But a performance like this with the squad that he put out there should really show you the kind of impact that he's had and should give you a lot of positive thoughts on what could go on this summer. I'm not saying we're going to go win the World Cup, but the fact that we're now all shifting the conversation to can we win a knockout game rather than are we going to get out of the group? The fact that they're shifting from I'm dreading the embarrassment of the World Cup to maybe this team could shock the world. That's what Pochettino's doing, and he's peaking at the right time, right? Let's say he peaked at the Gold Cup this summer. We were amazing and we won. But then all of these camps, there would have been so much extra pressure. We need to dominate. We need to get better and better. Instead, he's gotten better and better pretty much every single camp, and I've been saying that. Better and better and better. Now he's got a little bit of a break to evaluate. Hopefully get our guys back and fit, firing for their clubs. In March, hopefully the squad's going to look a lot like what my next video will look like. The who's in, who's out. So make sure you're subscribed for that. We're going to get that to you later this week. This is Yanks Abroad. Smash the like button down below. Leave a comment on your thoughts on that win over Uruguay. One of the best in U.S. men's national team history, for me at least, to just see us play with such joy and to want to play for the country, to want to play for the coach. It's a totally different vibe. This is Yanks Abroad, and we'll talk to you later this week.